Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Langley Speedway. I'm Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing team. Tonight, we're bringing you a 40-lap feature event in the top split of the Fanatec Rookie Street Stock Series. This race features the top drivers on the service at the time the race was offered at Langley. Let's have a look at the starting grid. Starting in the 15th spot in car number 9, racing out of Canada, it's Nathan Friedman. In the 14th starting spot, he comes to us from South America. In the 7 car, it's Ivan Ibanez, starting in the 13th spot. In car number 14, the Hellman's Mayonnaise car of David McCoy. David races out of California. Starting 12th, in car number 12, the Jegs Chevrolet of Brett Harris, Brett from the Northwest region. Starting 11th, in car number 15, racing out of the Great Plains, it's Brian Provence. Starting 10th, in car number 13, it's the Napa Chevrolet of Juan Cardone from South America. Starting 9th in car number 8, the Hooters Chevrolet of Kevin Zarins, Kevin out of California. In the 8th starting spot, in car number 10, the Logitech Chevrolet of Lee Krause, Lee racing from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Starting in the 7th spot, in car number 5, the KLR Team Glock Chevrolet of Joshua Gugliotta from Syracuse, New York. In the 6th starting spot, in car number 11, sponsored by Logitech, racing out of the Mountain West, it's Travis Roberts. Starting 5th in car number 3, it's the Budweiser Chevrolet of David Witten. David also racing from the West. Starting 4th in car number 34, he'll show up on your telemetry as car 2. It's Aaron Johnson in the Wendell Scott Tribute car, Johnson racing from Bailey, Colorado. Starting 3rd in car number 6, it's Todd Taylor from Carolina. In the 2nd starting spot, in car number 4, that's the Snap-on Tools Chevrolet of Michael Witten, Michael from Paradise, California. And on the pole, in car number 1, the Fanatec Chevrolet of Peyton Henry, Peyton from New England. The pace car leads the field down the back straightaway. This feature a lot of fast drivers, some of the best in the Fanatec Rookie Street Stock Series. The pace car is in. Peyton Henry hammers the throttle. Henry takes a quick early lead. He makes a quick run on the 4 of Michael Witten. It's going to be Peyton Henry leading the field into turn number 1. Henry out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Peyton Henry with the lead, followed by the 4 of Witten, then Taylor, Johnson, and the other Witten. Michael and David Witten, I do believe, are brothers. Out of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway to complete lap 1. Peyton Henry will lead the first lap in this 40-lap feature event. Peyton Henry puts some distance between himself and the 4 of Michael Witten. Behind them, Todd Taylor's moved into the 3rd. David Witten is 4th. Johnson has dropped back into the 5th position. Peyton Henry out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. Henry leads lap number 2. The car quick, turning through the center of 1 and 2 onto the back straightaway. It's Peyton Henry out front, followed by Witten, Johnson, and Gugliotta as Todd Taylor has dropped from 3rd to 6th. A little internet lag creating an issue. Peyton Henry continues to lead. Henry running a quick race, setting a quick pace at Langley. Down the back straightaway, it's the flying 1 of Peyton Henry, then Michael Witten, David Witten, Johnson, and Gugliotta. No change in the front 5 as we complete lap 4 and begin the 5th lap of our 40-lap feature event. Witten in 2nd, Henry in 1st. Henry beginning to close in on lap traffic. As you can see, lap traffic just coming into the screen as Peyton Henry makes his way around the racetrack. Should be able to see a little lap traffic right here as Henry is closing in on the 14 of David McCoy. Ivan Ibanez in the pits. A spin there by Brian Provence. Now Henry closes on the 13 of Juan Lopez. Henry looks to the inside. We've got a crash. Henry's up against the wall. Peyton Henry, the leader's out. That takes out the 4 and the 3 of Witten. Johnson splits the difference. The top 3 cars involved in this accident. Henry and both Witten brothers involved in a wreck on lap number 7. Looks like Aaron Johnson's going to be in the lead. Johnson in the Wendell Scott Tribute car, the beneficiary of an accident involving a car that come out of the infield onto the racing surface. Johnson closing on the 13. That's Juan Lopez in the Napa car. Johnson trying to put him a lap down. Just in front of Johnson, the 3 of Witten. That would be David, who had been running in the 3rd spot. Now the last car on the lead lap. Johnson with the lead, followed by the 5 of Gugliotta, then Roberts, Taylor, and Friedman. As the Witten brothers have dropped to 10th and 6th, respectively. Peyton Henry in the pits in 12th spot. Johnson leads, Gugliotta 2nd, Roberts 3rd. Johnson behind the 3 of David Witten. David Witten in 10th spot, last car on the lead lap. Both cars just behind the 1 of Henry, who's now exited the pits. Peyton Henry had been the class of the field prior to that accident. We are 11 laps into a 40-lap feature event. Aaron Johnson managed to thread the needle in a 4-car accident that took out the top 3 cars at Langley. Johnson behind Henry and the 3 of David Witten. Last car on the lead lap. Peyton Henry 1 lap down. Johnson leading a decent gap back to the 5 of Josh Gugliotta. Gugliotta trying to hold off the 11 of Travis Roberts. Let's move back and see what it looks like if we ride along with Gugliotta. There's Gugliotta about 10 car lengths behind Johnson, the 11 of Travis Roberts. Closing on the 5 of Gugliotta. Those 2 cars battling for the 2nd and 3rd spot. Behind them, it's the 6 of Todd Taylor. Taylor running in 4th spot. Then behind Taylor, it's the 4 of Michael Witten in 5th. Michael Witten, a fast race car. Not too much damage from that accident. You can see a little bit of damage on the left front. Behind Witten, the 10 of Lee Krause is in the 6th spot. Behind him, it is the 8 of Kevin Zarens. Then the 9 of Nathan Friedman. Behind those 2 cars, the 15, that's the lap car of Brian Provence. Behind Provence, it's the 1 of Henry. Then it's the 3 of David Witten. Behind them, back around to the leader, that's the 34 of Aaron Johnson. Johnson leads. A lap car between Johnson and the 5 of Josh Gugliotta. That's the 12 of Brett Harris. Harris really sliding the tires through the corners. He's got a little bit of a handling issue, a lot of brake issue as well, a lot of red hot braking there. Too much brake can create some kind of a trouble with your handling, so got to be easy on the brakes. Up front, it is Johnson out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. That's the 15 of Brian Provence, just ahead of Johnson. Provence 1 lap down. He's in 13th spot, just ahead of those. Just ahead of Provence, it's the 3 of Witten and the 1 of Peyton Henry, both going underneath the 9 of Nathan Friedman. So Witten and Henry putting distance between themselves and Johnson as they try to stay on the lead lap. We're on the 18th lap of a 40-lap event. Johnson out front. He's working on the lap car of Brian Provence. Johnson in the Wendell Scott tribute car works on the 15 of Provence and the 9 of Nathan Friedman. Johnson into turn number 3, trying to find his way around lap traffic. Lap traffic holding Johnson up just a bit here, allowing the 5 of Josh Gugliotta to close. Gugliotta closing ever so slightly as the 9 and the 15 race. The 15 gets a little sideways there. Johnson gets underneath. He's going to be able to get position on the 15 going into turn 3. That'll give Johnson a chance to go around the 15. 15 drives in hard. Lap car, coming out of the pits. They kind of went 3 wide with the 7 of Ivan Ibanez coming out of the pits. That was a little bit of a heart-stopping moment, but all are through safely. Johnson now works on the 9 of Nathan Friedman. It's Friedman out of 4. Johnson working to his inside. No dice. Johnson looks to the inside again as they go into 1. Again, no dice. Johnson very nearly tags the 9 of Friedman. Friedman not giving the leader any room. It's not Friedman's responsibility to. Johnson's got to find his way around. They come out of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Johnson and Friedman side by side. Aaron Johnson will put Friedman a lap down. 18 laps left in a 40-lap race. Johnson with the lead. Gugliotta 2nd. Travis Roberts 3rd. Then it's Taylor, Michael Witten, and Lee Krause rounding out the top 6. David Witten has moved back into the 7th spot after falling as low as 10th. Now the 6th spot after falling as low as 10th in that early accident. Behind Witten, it's Krause, then Zarens, Friedman, and Juan Lopez, the 10th spot. The top 8 cars on the lead lap with Friedman and Lopez, the first 2 cars a lap down. Johnson closing on the 8 of Kevin Zarens. Zarens, that Hooters Chevrolet. Johnson running a nice smooth line out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. Aaron Johnson closing on the 8 of Kevin Zarens. Behind Johnson, it's the 5 of Joshua Gugliotta. Joshua closing in on Johnson. Joshua also putting a little distance between himself and the 3rd place car of Travis Roberts. Josh Gugliotta trying to find his way to the front. Closing in on our leader, 15 laps to go. It's Gugliotta in 2nd. The 11 of Travis Roberts in 3rd. Behind them, the 6 of Taylor has dropped back about half a straightaway. Taylor pretty much out of contention. Behind Taylor, the 4 of Michael Witten about half a lap down. really it's the top three, Johnson, Gugliotta, and Roberts, with an opportunity to win this race. Johnson has put Kevin Zarins a lap down, continuing to pick him up and put him down. The 5 of Gugliotta also makes his way past Zarins. Gugliotta closing on Johnson. 13 to go. It is Aaron Johnson with the lead. Josh Gugliotta second. Travis Roberts third. Gugliotta faster than Johnson, closing in as we approach the end of this race. Johnson trying to hold off a charging Josh Gugliotta, followed by Travis Roberts. Johnson closing in on the 7 of Ivan Ibanez. Johnson looks to the inside. Ibanez gives him plenty of room. Johnson out of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Gugliotta having to fight with that 7 car as well. It caught him at a slightly different spot. That might have cost Gugliotta just a little bit of time. Johnson down the back straightaway. We've got the lapped 12 car coming out of the pits. That's Brett Harris. Harris now 7 laps down. Johnson has to run the high line. That's going to cost him some time. We'll see if Gugliotta can find a better path around. Gugliotta looked like he was smoking the brakes just a little bit there. Let's ride along with Gugliotta. The 11 of Travis Roberts has closed on Gugliotta. Gugliotta trying to chase down Johnson, but without giving up the spot to Travis Roberts. Those 2 cars both gaining on our leader. Johnson with about a 6-car length advantage. The 11 tags the 5 as they come out of 2, backs off to give him some room, allow him to collect it. They're racing hard at Langley. 9 laps to go. Johnson leading. The action just behind him between the 5 of Gugliotta and the 11 of Travis Roberts. Johnson leads them through 1 and 2. It is Gugliotta and Roberts racing hard. Gugliotta down the back straightaway. Looks like he's closing on Johnson again. It's Gugliotta and Roberts running 2nd and 3rd. Johnson out front. Gugliotta driving the hell out of that race car as he comes out of turn 4 sideways. Manages to hold on to it. The 11 of Travis Roberts looking underneath. Josh Gugliotta all over the throttle on that race car, pushing it as hard as he can. He knows he's got 7 laps to go to catch the leader. He's got about 8 car lengths to make up. At the pace he's going, Gugliotta's not going to be able to catch Johnson. Johnson running a nice smooth race. Has been leading since an accident early in this event cost Peyton Henry and the Witten brothers the top 3 spots. Johnson continues to lead. Gugliotta has closed. Gugliotta now within about 5 car lengths of Johnson. There are 5 laps to go. Can Gugliotta chase Johnson down, or will Johnson hold him off? Gugliotta's also put some distance between himself and the 11 of Roberts. Johnson leads. Gugliotta 2nd. Roberts 3rd. There are 4 laps to go. Gugliotta definitely closing on the 34 of Johnson. Let's hop in with Johnson and see what it looks like from his point of view as he closes in on Lee Krause. Krause in the 7th spot. He's the last car on the lead lap. Lap traffic coming into play as Josh Gugliotta closes on the 34 of Johnson. Gugliotta now within 3 car lengths. There are 3 laps to go. Will Gugliotta get close enough to make a race out of it? A little internet lag. Lee Krause flickering in and out. Johnson gets underneath. Krause gives the leaders plenty of room. He knows they're racing for a win. Johnson also looking to get underneath the 7 of Ibanez. Ibanez gives Johnson room. Johnson looks underneath the 7 as well. They go into turn number 3. Johnson and Gugliotta. Gugliotta has now closed to within a car length and a half. There are 2 to go. Now there will be 1 to go this time by. Johnson's going to take the white flag. Gugliotta has closed. He runs down into turn number 1, closes to within half a car length. Johnson out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. Gugliotta follows him closely. Now a half a car length as they come into turn number 3. Gugliotta looks to the inside. Johnson holds the line as he comes out of turn number 4. Gugliotta turns hard underneath, gets sideways trying to make the pass. It's going to be Aaron Johnson with the win. Josh Gugliotta trying his best to get by the 2 of Johnson is going to end up finishing in the 3rd spot as Travis Roberts will go by him for 2nd. Behind them, Todd Taylor is going to finish up 4th. Then it'll be David Witten in 5th, Michael Witten in 6th, Lee Krause 7th, Kevin Zarins 8th, Nathan Friedman 9th, and Juan Lopez rounding out the top 10. Peyton Henry, the pole setter, will end up in the 11th spot after that early accident. Boy, what an exciting finish at Langley Speedway. Aaron Johnson ran a nice smooth race, but at the end, Josh Gugliotta had a little better race car. He just didn't have enough laps. Whew! Well, for the Johnson iRacing team on the Johnson iRacing Network, this is Aaron Johnson saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.